Let us know what the focus and what God's been doing this past year and where you see this headed.
Absolutely. So I am so excited to tell y'all about what has been happening. So Crew, we had a big year, and in 2023, there were 3 big things that we wanted every kid coming out of Crew to know. We wanted them to know that God made you. We wanted them to know that God loves you, and we wanted them to know that God wants to be in your life. And those were the 3 things where, like, if nothing else sticks, maybe one of those 3 will. So that going forward is going to continue, because those are things that we as a church believe, those are the cornerstones of discipleship. And so going forth, that is what we are continuing to teach our kids. The last year was so much fun. So here's like some numbers for you. We had 103 kids check in for nursery or Crew. And it wasn't just Sullivan checking in like 103 times. He was so excited to be here. It was like 103 different faces that came in to our children's ministry this year. And out of that, our average number in just Crew worship was about 42. We had up to 60 at times, but we had a giant group of kids. We had 62 kids that came to VBS, and not all of them were from Western Hills. So that means that there is like an extra mile, if you will, that is being reached. And we are excited to have those kids here.
Very much.
Even for just like 2 hours. We had, on average, 12 babies in the nursery every Sunday. Sometimes there were more, because y'all keep having babies. And so we have a growing, living children's ministry that is getting exponentially bigger as hard as we're trying. So 12 babies in the nursery on average. That's like the count of how many. We had 4 events over the summer where kids got to come on a Tuesday and just hang out. We went to the museum, we made pizza, we got to be together, and we're kind of building those fellowship things, and those are going to continue. We also had one giant room full of 42 to 60 kids, just one room. It was very first century church. And so, but we had them all crammed into one singular room, and we were like, hey, listen, we're glad you're here. And they're like, it's sweaty or it's cold, but we're glad you're here too. So that being forward, as we are growing and as we are getting bigger, there's going to be some things that we are going to get to expand upon. So those, I'm so excited to tell you about those. I'm like, all right. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay. The other big thing that we had for the year was we had a big renovation upstairs in our children's ministry, and there's an invitation for y'all if y'all would like to go see it after service. The doors are going to be open, and you can go see our sensory room. This is like one of my favorite things that we have done is we have created a space where we tore down some walls, we painted fresh, we took a space that was storage, and we have renovated it to become a sensory place where the kids have a little route that they go through. It changes every Sunday where they can do like a balance beam. There's some stepping stones, there's some foam, there's things that they jump off of, because we ask kids to do a hard thing when they come to church. And we ask them to sit in the pew and to be so quiet. And then they also have to be so good, and they have to go upstairs to strange people that they don't quite know. So we give them a place where they get to go and jump around. And this is helping to meet the needs of our kids. And this is helping them to know that there's a correlation between going to church, the community that happens at church, and also the pure joy that happens when God's people come together. And it just makes me very happy. And they are wild and feral and all things wonderful in the sensory room. So this is like a passion of mine, that I love the sensory room and the way it's getting used throughout the week as well. So that being said, here's some of the things that we are looking forward to expanding upon in 2024. The first thing that we are very excited about is that we are going to be splitting Crew worship into 2 groups. We are going to have 2 individual rooms. We are going to have big Crew and we are going to have little Crew. And we are going to have dedicated teachers who are excited to be with the kids during worship. and we are going to have the numbers back in TEA approved ratios. And so, but we are going to have these two split up, so it's going to be more manageable. And when you are in crew worship, you're going to get to interact with those kids a little bit more face to face. And
Do you know what the ages of those groups will be yet?
A very good question, sir. Absolutely. The little crew is going to be 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. And if there's like a kindergartner who's like, hey, listen, I've got a little sibling, I need to be with them, that's fine too. Okay. The big crew is going to be the rest of the kindergartners, the first and second and third graders. Okay. We have like 17 kindergartners right now, so there's going to be a little bit of wiggle room for which room they're going to get to go to, especially because some of our kindergartners are really excited to be big siblings, and they take that very seriously. So we have to honor that. But those are going to be the two rooms. They're still going to both be upstairs, so when I dismiss and I say, hey, crew kids, let's go, all of those kids are going to grab their friend, their walking feet, all that good stuff, and they're going to go up, they're going to do sensory room, and they're going to split to do the same curriculum and the same Bible study, but it's going to be appropriate for their age. Okay. So our littles, super hands-on. Our third graders, they're going to start thinking a little bit more because we've got some thinkers. So it's going to be right for them.
What else?
The next thing that we're going to be doing is we are going to have both nurseries open. Because we are growing so much, we are going to be putting all of our birth through 18 month in one room. We're going to put 18 through 35 month in another. When they reach 36 months, they get to come with me. So, but we have enough babies where this is a need for us to get to open up both nurseries, and we have fantastic women who are like, yes, this is what we need to do for them. The next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to be starting a 2nd-hour class for kindergarten. Previously, we had a 3-year-old class, a 4 and 5 class, and then big crew. But because we have so many kids, we are now having to open up another 2nd-hour class, which is so exciting, and it's going to be developmentally appropriate for them. It's going to be wonderful, and they're going to get the more one-on-one, and they're going to get that small group. It makes me so happy. So we're planning on that for this year, and that starts next week. The next thing that we're going to continue is the summer crew. We're going to go back to the museum. We're going to go to the zoo, not in the middle of the summer, and we are going to get to be together even when it's not church time, because we're the church. That's one of the things we're instilling in our kids. And the final thing that was possible because of y'all was that we had VBS, and we are going to have VBS again on June 9th. And my little teaser is that there will be dragons. So I'm very, very excited about VBS. So put on your calendar, June 9th, I need you here. But those are the big things that we have coming up this year.
Okay. So what do we need for all that to happen?
Okay. So if you are a grown-up, would you raise your hand? Like, let's identify the grown-ups in the room. Thank you for the 3 grown-ups in the room. So the things that y'all can do, because this is kind of for y'all, right, is every Sunday, if you will check in, because there's 2 things that happen. One, I give you a sticker, which is security, because we have kids that we may not always know their face. They come in, and like, I know your kid, but there might be a sweet grown-up who wants to know your kid and doesn't yet. So the sticker is this big part of the security thing that we have to do. I think it would be really cool if we created a culture of like, hey, look at my cool tacky sticker that I have because I want to keep my kids safe. And also it reassures visitors that like we take it seriously, that your kid is with us and that you're trusting us with the thing that you made. So if you will do that, that's the first part. The second part is that when you check in, I am able to see you. I'm able to say, hey, good morning. And you're able to say, my kid threw 3 chairs this morning, help. And I'm like, okay, I know what we need to do. Or you come in and you're like, hey, you know, dad has deployed, we're very sad. And I'm like, it's okay, I got your girls. When you talk to me in the mornings and you do that check-in, it is vital to me knowing how to love your kid best. And our kids have different needs, and so you can say like, hey, my kid needs something, he needs a little bit of extra sensory time. You're able to say, there's something going on this is the big thing that I need you to know. And I love that time to talk to you and also to learn about your kid and how we can love them. And that's the second part. So like the sticker, but also the check-in is just, please talk to me about how I can serve your kid. I do not know all the needs that they are going to have, and I do not have all the answers, but this is a place where they are wanted, and this is a place where we are passionate about getting them what they need. So when you tell me, hey, this is what my kiddo needs, I'm going to honor that, and we are going to work together to figure out how we can make that happen. We want your kid here. And then the third part, of course, is to pick up a spot to serve. And this isn't just the mamas and daddies. This is the grandmas and the grandpas and the nanas and the granddads and the tias and the teenagers. Like, this is to everyone in here who is like, I think I know a child. You have a spot that you are able to serve. And I am going to implore you to pick that spot and to commit to it with your full heart and to serve God in that way as well. So, that being said, this is how many grown-ups we need and how many grown-ups are used every single week in children's ministry. From start to finish, I calculated how many people are involved in children's ministry every week, and there are 22 of us every week. So it's nice to have a little bit of a rotation, and so if you are able to help and you want to be part of us, please, come on, let's go. We have everything from check-in, we've got security, we've got nursery, we've got worship, second hour, but to love our growing ministry and to keep our church young and growing and living, we are using 22 adults every single week. So that's my prayer, is that we will step up to be able to love on our kids in this way. And it's hard because you're tired and I'm tired, and this is worth it. This is like the generational work that we do because we love God. So the thing that I'm praying for us, and especially for me, is that God will constantly remind me that church is not passive. And as tempting as it is for me to come and sit and just learn and study, that's not all I get to do in the freedom of Christ. There's a big action step to it as well. So if you will be praying, especially for my heart to realize that, that would mean the world to me. And I love y'all, and I love your kids, and this has been the biggest blessing of my life. So, and I said I had 0 meltdowns, right?
You said what?
I had 0 meltdowns.
0 meltdowns.
Yeah, that was the other big statistic, was like I had 0 meltdowns this year. Not your kids, but me personally. Your kids had 1 or 2, but like for me, 0 was the number of meltdowns, and that's a testament to how wonderful you are. So.
Well, that's probably fewer meltdowns than I had this past year. So.
We've got a sensory room for you.
Would you show Rachel some appreciation and encouragement?